Hold on real quick. Before we do the first question, can we talk about Montreal real quick?
We could always talk about Montreal.
Okay. So first of all, Portuguese chicken. Let's go.
Yes.
Quit playing. All
Ah.
right.
Yes.
Like
I love it. Great
I
start.
used to I used to do a lot of drugs. I don't do drugs no more. But I was off, you know what Mandy is?
Yes.
Mandy is Molly's cousin, MDA. You feel me? Cousin of Molly. No MDMA, MDA. It's very groovy. I was off the Mandy and I could still eat because that Peruvian chicken was smacking so hard.
It's so good.
Let's talk about. I've never been. The only other city I would say is Barcelona, Spain. But still, like I've never been to a place with so many. The women are aggressive in Montreal. They were catcalling me. I felt objectified. I felt like a damn piece of meat walking down the block. They was like, I was like,
Love
damn,
it.
this is how girls feel, bro. This is like, I damn near wanted to write a letter to the congressman. I know y'all ain't got congressman, but
Yo,
I
you
was
know
like,
what? I can co-sign that because I just finished going to
it's gnarly,
Montreal
right?
in right like November 2019, right before pandemic, right? And I'm on my honeymoon, right? And like chicks still flirted. And it's just like, yo, you're like high key disrespectful. My wife is right there. You're lucky she can't hear you. She's from Brooklyn. She'll fuck you up. Like, you know what I
They're
mean?
they're,
Like,
they're looking for that three screw, bro. They don't
yeah,
know.
yo,
They're
they're
trying to
crazy.
test out the vibes. Like,
I
dude,
mean, but you
like
know what? Like, wow, props to like Montreal and Canada, period, right? Like, Canada's
Thank you.
known for like its women being like,
Canada's got some of the baddest women in
Let's
the world.
focus
In
more on
Montreal,
Montreal. It's more a Montreal thing. I'm just gonna throw it out there than a Canada
oh
thing.
yeah, yeah. The aggression and like like I know about the history a little bit, but like I had girls slapping me on the ass. I was like, I don't even got ass like that. This is wild, bruh. Um, every single bar is a strip club. I mean, like it might just be like some drunk chick on the pole getting wild, but it's a strip club nonetheless. It's like titties first, questions later. But I had an incredible experience. I just really wanted to, before you get into your first question, just say
No, it's okay. This was great.
Portuguese chicken.
No, but
That's
that's
it.
what, when you said that, I was like, that's real. Like that isn't like some regular. You have to have had that shit to have had that shit. You know, like that felt that.
Yeah.
All right, so I do have that first question done. It's fucking. I'm excited to hear your answer. So basically, it's a bit of a story. When it lands, you'll be like, whatever you feel about it, you'll answer. It'll be cool. But it all starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes, and she's bumping that Black Eyed Peas song, that I got a feeling, ooh, and she's like vibing, she's dancing, she's doing her thing. And what's really nifty about that is I started thinking about like music and vibes and shit, and how like this song is like exercise music now. It's like fucking doing dishes, chores music now. And I'm like, 10 years ago, I can vividly remember being in the club, jumping up around drunk as fucking circles to that very song, singing it, trying to get girls and whatnot. And it was just a very different vibe, like that song. But that song in time moved along, and I'm like, whoa, music in the way that it relates to time is kind of interesting like that. So it made me realize autumn club hits today. Everything people's vibing to, that shit's just gonna be like the chores music of the future and all that stuff people's exercising to, which I thought was super cool. And that relates to like our musical journeys a bit because songs are kind of like attached to vibes at different points in our life and they have different meanings and everything.
Right.
And the thing
I
of
feel like a lot of that's triggered by nostalgia. Like if you're comfortable enough to do chores or something, it's a song that resonates with a certain emotional capacity from your past. You know what I mean?
I find that's exactly it. But that thinking of the nostalgia factor, it made me think about our own musical journeys. And oftentimes when we talk about it, especially in interview land, it usually starts around puberty life when we start to get our attachment to music and form our own identities. But if you think about it in terms of vibes and the soundscapes of our lives, it really starts like way earlier than that. And I know in your case it might be a little different than most people, but it really starts with like when you're really young, 5 years old, this real youthful times. And like it's the stuff that your parents or the environment around you was playing, the technologies around, the availability of the different things. Like for me, my dad was playing these Led Zeppelin tapes, and for some reason that was like the apartment music, but Krista Berg was like the car music, and the 90s techno was the night music. And all these different things kind of created this like soundscape in my universe that laid this foundation that would later become my musical identity, and you wouldn't even realize it till like way later on in life. So I guess that brings me to you, and if we can go back to being a little 5-year-old Lush One, something in that early era, if you could walk us a little bit through the soundscape of your existence at that time.
So I love that question because I very often, and I love the way you phrase this. Like I get interviewed by a lot of hip hop outlets. You feel me? Been promoting my new album, so and pretty much every single one of them will be like, "Well, how did you first get into hip hop?" And that kind of correlates with this question for me because I got two older brothers. 12 and 14 years older than me. My parents had me, they were like 39, 40, had them in their 20s. They swear to God that I was not an accident. You know what I mean? They swear that I was planned. The jury is still out. You know what I'm saying?
Love
We
it.
don't have the results yet. I am not sure. Regardless, I'm here. But I had brothers that they were the perfect age difference for me because they were too old to beat me up. You know what I mean? So I didn't like, we weren't able to fade them like that, but they were close enough in age to put me up on some cool ass shit. And so when I was 4 years old, happened to be right when Ice-T, I'm born in 1981, December of 81. Not to age myself, but I'm born in December of 1981. My brother showed me a record by Ice-T called 6 in the Morning. And I don't know if it was the infectious bass line or the controversial, aggressive content and a bunch of words that I was explicitly told that I wasn't supposed to say. And the combination of that was just intoxicating. And I fell in love with hip hop at that age. I was 4 years old. And from there, the very early ages, it was, evolved from Ice-T to, it was like a very good blend of like classic Seminole, New York hip hop. And since I'm from Los Angeles, California, gangster rap and pimp rap. So everything from NWA, Eazy-E, Compton's Most Wanted, Too Short to Eric B and Rakim, the Fat Boys, Beasties, all that kind of shit. You feel me? Like that's what I was raised on from a very small age. But also, classic rock. I had two pet chameleons when I was 5 years old. They were named Jimmy and Bob. So that just shows
Like real
after actually
chameleons?
chameleons.
Yo, how
Chameleons,
much
yeah.
is like how much do they actually change their colors and shit?
These ones, they would be, it was like different shades of green and brown. It wasn't like if you put them on like something blue, they're not going to change blue and shit, but they for sure will like change colors based on like, and also I think it's temperature or some other shit too. But yeah, Jimmy and Bob, I was super into Jimi Hendrix, super into the Beach Boys. I think that was the LA, you know what I mean? Obviously, Barbara Ann, that was a big joint when I'm saying I was like 2 years old and I was on my brother was a drummer. I was on his trap set playing Barbara Ann or just banging and saying ba ba ba. So like that was like very early, and then like definitely was essentially raised by MTV. Ever since MTV, the box, VH1 was kind of whacked this before BET was even a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a big answer. So